All right, can everyone see the screen, the PowerPoint? Okay.
Okay, so give me 1 second. There we go. All right, well, welcome everyone to Lights Library Action. I'm Amanda Choi, and we're presenting with Leela Swisher today about the library's streaming film collection. Next slide.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so we'll just, here's a brief agenda. Today we're going to do just introductions and then a quick little overview about finding films in our collection. And then we're going to do a tour of our streaming media resources, especially highlighting some of the exciting new additions we've had in recent time. And then we'll go over how to request films if there's something outside of our collection that you need. And then a quick comment on public performance rights, and then questions. So who are we? I'm Amanda Choi. I'm the full-time librarian at the San Ramon campus, but I'm also at the moment the interim collection development librarian. Our previous collection development librarian, Florence Espiritu, who you may all have met at some point, she recently resigned, and so I am filling in her role, which she was responsible for basically managing our collection, and that includes books and our electronic collection as well to some extent. So I'm supporting in that role to help with adding electronic media streaming films to the collection. Leela, do you want to introduce yourself?
yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Leela Swisher, and well, technically, I'm not one of the permanent faculty librarians. I'm adjunct. I'm in a couple different categories. I also work at Contra Costa College. But I'm mainly their systems librarian, and I'm kind of the interim electronic resources librarian. So some of you may have known Dan Kiley. He retired a couple years ago. They haven't filled that position. So myself and Amanda and a couple of other people, we've kind of been working together on managing electronic resources, including streaming videos and streaming video requests. And it was nice to meet you all. Thank you for attending. Oh, it's me. Next slide.
Yeah, so our goal with this presentation is mainly just to build awareness of what the library has. We did a bunch of presentations last year because we were trying to get the college to help us fund streaming media and streaming films. And every presentation we did, we got the comment like, oh, I didn't know the library had this resource, or I didn't know you could request films. I didn't even know there was streaming media at the library. And so that made us think, okay, well, we really need to do a better job of building awareness about the collection, what kind of services we can offer, and then especially encouraging use, because part of the way we get funding is through use. So the more students are using our collection, the more you are using our collection, the better we're able to justify continued funding for these resources. We also have added a couple new streaming media resources to our collection, and we really wanted to let everyone know about it because they're super exciting. And then, of course, Leela and I just wanted to introduce ourselves because we had so much turnover at the library. We thought a lot of people might not realize that we're the new people that you contact if you have these needs and you want to work with the library to have them filled. But before we go on with actually talking about how to find films and find these resources, we were kind of curious about, and we don't have to go through everyone, but a few people want to share like either what brought you here today or how you're using film in your work. We'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and just unmute, put it in the chat if you prefer. But yeah, so how are you using film, and what brings you here today?
I'll start off. My name is Carmina Girarte. I'm a history instructor at DVC Pleasant Hill campus, and I use it quite a bit for my classes, in particular my online classes. I want students to get a visual of certain historical events. And unfortunately, you guys don't offer Canopy anymore. There's not too many Canopy selections, so I have been using films on demand. So that has been good to me so far. And I like to use clips. So it's really great to make a little clip, where they're not have to see the whole film, but just a clip that gives them in detail and a visual of that historical event that, occurred. Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else want to share?
I'll share.
Sure.
My name's Amy. I teach art history. I primarily teach prehistoric, ancient, and medieval and Renaissance. And I'm redoing, I always use films on demand. Wonderful. As an adjunct, it's across districts, which is very important. And I'm part of the OER grant with my medieval Renaissance class. So I just wanted to be sure I was up to date with all your new fabulous resources.
Awesome.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, that's a wonderful point. Being able to use these resources through the library if you're trying to develop an zero textbook cost or OER course, so helpful. Anyone else care to share?
Well, I'll chime in. My name's Chris. I teach in the humanities department at DVC Pleasant Hill. And of course, film is part of a humanities purview in general. And I'd like to, though I haven't used film that much in class, other than bringing in my own DVDs and playing them, or at least playing scenes. I'd love to be able to take advantage of the catalog that you have there, and of course, especially the idea of using clips for specific moments and things would be just a terrific addition, I think, to the class.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and hopefully we'll answer questions or give you the information you're looking for. But if not, Leela and I are so happy to talk about these topics outside of this Flex. You can always get in touch with us and we could set up one-on-one time over Zoom and just answer any questions or demo anything that you need demonstrated. All right, well, let's move on. And please, we're a small group, I think, so feel free to unmute if you have questions that come up as we're presenting, or you could put it in the chat. We're monitoring that. So the first thing we thought was, let's just kind of give a general introduction to how you would find films through the library. And our basic tool for doing this, it searches everything we have in our collection all at once, all of our films, all of our databases, all of our books, all of our ebooks is a tool called OneSearch. And if anyone's been to the library homepage, I'll show this in a second as well, you'll remember that there is a search box on our homepage. And the search box is, it's basically your gateway to the collection. It is our OneSearch search tool. And so I think this is a good place to start if you have a specific title that you're looking for. So if I really want to show my class this Nova documentary Ice Age footprints, for example, this is how you would go about finding if the library owns it. So let me share my screen for a moment, just so that I can really quickly show this to you.
Do I need to stop or can you take over?
I can take over, and then when I'm done. And of course, I have many screens open. Okay, so dvc.edu/library, that's our homepage. And here's the search box I was talking about. And just as a sample, I'll do Mad Max. And if we have it, it will likely turn up just by a simple title search. And you'll notice when we put it in, since it's searching everything, you're going to have results that aren't just videos or film. So we've got our book, it's usually labeled or some kind of icon to let you know if it's film. So book here, video, and then here we have another video, and available at DVC if it has a location. That's usually your indicator that it's in DVD format, which, you know, if you're teaching in person, like you were saying, Christopher, that you could show DVDs. And so you're more than welcome to borrow a DVD to show in your class. But of course, that doesn't work so well if you're teaching online or you're hybrid and you're lecturing online. So if it says available online, that is your indicator that the film is a streaming film. And so you just click on the title, and then this isn't the actual resource itself, it's a link to the resource. So there's always going to be another click to get to the video. So here you'll see that if you want to view it online, it's available through our provider Swank. And you can see the licensing detail here as well. So this is how long we have access to the film, through next January.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I can't be seen, but this is about DVDs. How do you play them? I mean, I had some that actually the library found for me that were from a different point because there was no way to play a DVD in the classroom.
This is a fantastic question because we have all these smart classrooms. They have these kind of for audio visual, but no one has a DVD player built into into those classrooms. So if you don't have a DVD drive anymore, which most of us don't, the library does loan out these plug-in DVD drives. So that's an option. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yes, you do need to provide some way to actually play the DVD.
And I should throw in there too, as you're requesting streaming, so this sometimes comes about in the streaming request. If we can't find it in streaming, there's a chance, like if we can find a physical DVD, we can maybe, like, you can let us know if you'd be interested in the physical DVD. So sometimes not all streaming services will license to library, so we're kind of limited to what we subscribe to, but sometimes we can find the DVD on Amazon and order it for you to show in your classroom if you have in-person classes.
Okay, so that was my quick little demo of OneSearch. Basically, you're just doing simple title searches. OneSearch is less useful for, say, browsing. It's a little bit more complex. If you kind of wanted to browse what we had in the collection, say you were interested in seeing all of the, the videos we had available on, I don't know, climate change, for example, that might be a search that's better suited to doing with a librarian, just because there's so many search tips that are kind of, it's hard for us to summarize and show you right now in this demo. But if you want, that would be a time to meet with us over Zoom, for example, and we can demonstrate, like, okay, this is how we would run that search to make sure you get the best, most comprehensive results. Okay, Lily, you want to take back over the screen? And then the other thing I wanted to mention too about OneSearch is, if you run a title search and the film you're looking for doesn't show up, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't have it. Sometimes we just need to search for things in a different way. So before just kind of giving up or thinking that we don't have that film, I would contact one of us and let us know, and we can run a separate search and see if we can find it, using our other librarian superpowers.
Okay, ready for the next slide? Yeah. Okay, let me click back in here. There we go. Okay, so I am going to do a brief tour of our collection. I'm going to go through the slides first to give you kind of a description of the collection, and then I'll jump quickly into each individual collection and do a live tour, kind of just a quick tour. And like Amanda said, at any point, like, I'm going to kind of go a little quickly, but if I'm going too fast, or if you have a question, feel free to just unmute and interrupt me or type in chat. Okay, so the first collection that we have is one of our subscription collections. It's academic online. It has educational films, educational and feature films. Currently, there's almost 83,000 videos and counting. They're always adding more videos. And it features films from producers like the BBC, PBS, and A&E. At the bottom right here, I put a link to the user guide from Avon. So if at any point you want to go back and learn some of our more sophisticated features of Avon, you can always refer back to this PowerPoint. The next slide, this is Digital Theater Plus. This is one of our newer subscriptions. We have a 3-year subscription till 2025. It has a wide array of resources, so we think it's pretty cool. So we included it in here because it does include videos, but in addition to videos, it has a lot of resources like study guides. It has live recordings of theater, ballet, opera, classical music productions. It has some interviews with actors and crews, plot summaries, context analysis. There's some lesson plans, there's graphic novels. It's really cool. So you'll get to see some of that when we do the live demo. Films on Demand is another one of our subscription collections. It has almost 37,000 and counting films, and it features documentary and educational films, wide a range of academic topics. On this slide too, this is another collection where you can sign up for a user account, and it has some features like you can make playlists and clips. So this is a link back to the documentation of where you can find that. I'll also point out where you can sign up for an account, not required to view the films though. Next, we have Kanopy. So Carmina mentioned at one point we had it more wide open where we had a pay-per-view. Unfortunately, and this is kind of what's happened to a lot of libraries, it was getting cost prohibitive for us to manage that. It was costing almost, sometimes a couple $1,000s a month because it would add up. So we kind of had to lock down the collection. And so now it's just our individually licensed films. And Kanopy, I forgot to mention, is a collection of feature films and documentaries. So right now we have about 79 films that are licensed, and that kind of ebbs and flows depending on when the licenses start. It's generally for about a year. Occasionally we can get a deal like on a 3-year. They even have some perpetual licensing available. And Kanopy is another collection where you can sign up for an individual account. At one point, we had it set to where students had to sign up for an account to access the films. That's no longer the case. We had them disable that. However, that's still an option if you want to sign up for an account. And on this slide too, I put a link back into the My Account features, and I will point that out when I log in where you go to sign up for an account. And last but not least, we have Swank. Swank is both, well, as of January 1st of this year, it is both a collection of individually licensed film. And this year we decided to try their top 1,000 subscription. So Swank is basically it's feature films. So it's the top requested big box office titles from across their academic libraries all over the country. And so we're pretty excited about it, and we hope everyone will find some films that they find that they're able to use or just watch for fun. All right, so I am going to go out of here. I'm going to go into the databases now, and I'm going to do some quick live demos. And the way that you can access our databases is on our library homepage. Also I should note, Amanda was in the library catalog. Within the library catalog too, there's a very top menu row bar that says databases. You can get to the databases from there as well, but always from the library homepage. If you scroll down a little bit under the Find section, you want to go to the A to Z list of databases. And this is where you can find all of the library databases in alphabetical order. one thing I should note here, and pass on to your students is you always want to access our databases from our library homepage. And the reason for that is the the links on here, they're specially formatted links. So what it does is it tells the vendor that the traffic is coming from the library and that we're one of their subscribers. So you always want to make sure you follow those links. And if at any point you ever want the direct link, like the special link itself, if you want to embed it in Canvas, just email one of us. You can't really see the link right here from our A to Z guide. It's our special format, but we can always send you the full link if you ever need it. Okay, so the first I'm going to go in, I'm just going to go by alphabetical order, is Access Video Online, aka Avon. Okay. And one thing I'm going to note too, so all of our library databases are set up to route through the campus's SSO, single sign-on. If you are already logged in anywhere that uses single sign-on, so if you log into your email, you're in Canvas, you're in Insight, odds are you're already going to have authenticated through the campus portal. If you're coming in fresh and you haven't authenticated yet, you're going to see this initial screen. But after, you'll see as I move from database to database, it's not going to ask me to log into again. It's just going to bypass this screen. So it's going to log in right now. And of course, it's I cleared all my cache, so I have to get the code. Wait a minute, did I put 5695? It would help if I read the number correctly. There we go. Okay, so a lot of our streaming video platforms, you'll notice they've done some overhauls, some revamp of their interfaces, and they're trying to make them look a lot like Netflix. So they have kind of the same user experience. It's very graphical heavy. So as you first log in, generally in the center, they're going to kind of have a different, they change their theme every month. So these are some of the month themes of the different videos. To the left right here, you're going to have a menu. It's just a quick way to get to some of the other areas of the site. So they have some of the learning tools, and I'll go over that too when I point out how to sign up for an account. The different channels, so these are some of their popular channels. It's basically another way of saying they're kind of grouped by subject area. One thing I wanted to point out too, this channel here, if you're looking for feature films, there's feature films throughout Avon, but this Sony Picture Classics collection is like all feature films. It's like some of the Sony's popular titles. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature. And right here, over to the far right here, you see this little person icon. So if you click here and you click sign in, if you have an account already, this is where you would go to sign in. And then right here, it's kind of small, but says don't have an account, sign up. And on this page too, and then back in the PowerPoint slide, I've linked to documentation that talks more about the user account. So back in, I think it was May or June, they added this new feature. It's called video interactions. And it's pretty cool. So it allows you to create multiple choice questions, free response, polling, fill in the blank, vocabulary, discussion questions. And then, Carmina, you've mentioned you've worked with clips before, so you can create clips too as part of this. So when you sign up for the account, that's where you can do that once you're logged into your account.
I just want to add about the video interactions. Sorry, Leela.
Yeah, go ahead.
If anyone's used like Canvas Studio and like embedded quiz questions, it's a similar feature.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And in here on the main page, so this magnifying glass, this is how you get to the search. And so it's going to default to search all videos, but you can further limit if you want it to be a little bit of a narrower search. You can do channels. If you scroll, or you can scroll down too. I mean, this reminds me just of Netflix. Also, Xfinity, the Xfinity menu is like that too, where it's a nice friendly graphical interface. And so you have a way to search, but if you're not sure, that you can browse by subject. They have some new films that, a new section. These are some of their popular topics. This is the Sony Picture Classics that I mentioned earlier. So it just kind of shows some of their feature films. And let me go into, I'm just going to pick a video itself. When you go into the record for the video, this is nice, the play button right up here. Citation, if you click on citation, it has the different citation formats that are available from this drop-down menu, so they can scroll and find the more popular ones. This share button here is important. So this share button, this is where you're going to find the permalink. So we always advise when you're linking to a film to go with the permalink that's in the video interfaces instead of copying this URL at the top. And the reason for that is this permalink is always going to stay the same versus up top, depending on the activity that you're doing within the database, sometimes that URL can change. Like if you're searching and going to different places, and what you could end up doing is you might be copying like a really long URL. So we recommend going with this, the permalink, to copy the direct link. And then Avon is one of the streaming services that will allow you to embed within Canvas. So right here, you want to copy this embed code to embed in Canvas. And any questions so far on Avon before I move on to our next database? All right. Oh, and I'm going to try to, if I forget, Amanda, remind me, I looked up all of the different closed caption statements for each of the vendors. So I have my little notes here. If I forget to do that, just remind me. So Avon has said that 98% of their English language content is closed captioned, except for music, dance, and silent films. And they did said, though it may be rare, if you ever come across a video that is not closed captioned for any reason, you can reach out to us and we can let them know and they will get it captioned.
Leela, there was a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh, no, it's okay. About transcripts and whether or not these databases or services provide transcripts. I thought only Films on Demand did, but maybe since you've looked it up, you can answer that more accurately.
Yeah, so I've only seen it. So if you, I don't know if we clicking and play within itself, but yeah, if you turn on, you can search. Yeah, you can in here. So you have to click play first to get within it versus in Films on Demand, I'll show you, you see the transcript from the record view. So yes. So that is.
And then Leela, could you also show how to get to the permalink one more time?
Oh, of course, yes. So let me go back out. I'm just gonna. So within the video itself, they're all under this share button right here. So in the record itself, if you click share, you're gonna see that's where the embed is. Now, if you click play the video from the video itself, the share icon appears kind of to the bottom left of the screen, but it's this icon right here that you want to look for. And,
Being taken.
any more questions?
But yeah, Karen, to answer your question, we'll show a little bit about how to share these in Canvas later in the presentation.
Okay. And next up, we have Digital Theater Plus. So you can do the long scroll. You can also just click in the different letters right here. So Digital Theater Plus. So this is one of our relatively newer databases, and we have our subscription goes through, I believe, the end of 2025. That's part of the reason why we're promoting it too. So we were hoping to get some good use.
Yes,
right.
so if you like this database, be sure to use it often because the use at the end of our trial, like our 3-year kind of trial subscription, to decide if we're going to continue subscribing.
Yeah. And so front and center on Digital Theater Plus, you have the search box. To the left here, there are a lot of different resource types. And so I want to point out there is not an actual way to limit to just videos. Videos are kind of interspersed throughout the different resource types. Generally, though, like some of the resource types, it's more obvious they're videos. So documentaries, some of the productions, the workshops, those will be videos. And I'm just going to do a sample search so you can see kind of what the different resources are. And as above each resource, there's kind of a label, and some of them have a little icon to tell what type of resource it is. For the title resources, that basically is grouping all of the resources they have together on a particular title. And so if I clicked As You Like It, it would show all of the various resource formats for As You Like It. And then, like as you can see, they have audio productions, study guides, graphic novels, essays, and Digital Theater Plus, they provide us MARC records for this. So you might come across some of these if you're searching in the library catalog. Some of those might come up in some of your search results too. And I'm just going to go into one of the videos to show you what that looks like. This is for As You Like It. So Digital Theater Plus, unfortunately, you can't embed in Canvas directly, but within the video, if you click play, it'll start playing and pause it. And so here's where you can turn the subtitles on and off. And then this share button right here, it's pretty simple. It's basically going to give you a permalink directly back to the video. But one cool feature here is you can, if you click start, if you put in a start and stop time, you can link it back to just a clip of the video. So that's a pretty cool feature. And I think that's about it. Oh, their closed captioning. So they say 91% of their videos have been captioned. Basically anything that they've added after 2020, they caption it. And I think they have a project. They're going back retroactively and trying to caption all of their old titles. And once again, if there's anything in here that you come across that isn't captioned, that you would like captioned, feel free to reach out to us and we can always let the vendor know about it. All right, so next on our list is we have Films on Demand, aka FOD. So Films on Demand, it's another one of our subscription collections, has about, I guess now they're up to 38,595 titles and they're always adding more. On left-hand side right here, this is just a quick access to a menu. So you can get to different subject areas. They have some of their popular categories, some of their featured producers. Over to the right here, this is where you would go to sign up for an account. And I think, like I mentioned too, we're always going to go through the library homepage and our special links. And you're going to see something. That's how you're going to know you're in our collection. You'll usually see within the different collections, it's going to have something that says something like Access by Diablo Valley College, or they'll even have our logo. So that's how you can tell you're in the library's collection. And you want to be in the library's collection to be able to sign up for the user account. So Films on Demand, you're going to click on your profile and then new user sign up. And so that's how you would sign up for a user account. And once again, they're not required to view the films. It just lets you do some more enhanced things like making clips and playlists. And I'm just going to do a keyword search. So in the search box here, you can search by title, you can do subject, you can also scroll down and see they have kind of like in Avon, some of the most watched, they have subjects groupings by subject. So I'm just going to do a search on climate change. And then it comes up with a lot of results, and you can filter the results if you're coming up with too many results and you want to narrow them down. There's ways to narrow by subject, more filters right here. So there's different formats that you can limit by if you only want to find segments, different types of films, different categories. You can do copyright dates, producers. And over here off to the right, the default is by ranking, it's by relevancy. But if you want to see a different sort order from here, you can sort by title. Oftentimes the popular one is the newest to oldest to find the more. Films on Demand tends to have, some of the films tend to be older, so it's kind of a nice feature to do, is to sort to find the newer videos. And then I'm going to go into a video record right now. And see, like I mentioned before, the transcript on FLD shows at the record level. You don't have to actually start playing it to see. So the transcript is off here to the right. Also, some of the videos are broken down into smaller segments. So that will be in this section right here. The player, you hit play to start playing the film. Share, this is important. So this is where you're going to find, you can click share and then click on embed/link. The record URL, that's the permalink. So that's the link directly back to the film right here to copy it. And Films on Demand can also be embedded within Canvas. So they have the embed codes right here and the copy feature. This cite is ways to go cite in the different citation formats. And then I mentioned too, so segments, creating segments or adding to playlists. So those are features that you can use if you sign up for an account. Once you're logged into your account, you can use those features. And then documentation back on the PowerPoint presentation. Any questions on Films on Demand? Oh, alrighty. And Films on Demand, closed captioning. So all English, they strive to caption 100% of all of their English speaking videos. They do not at this time caption the foreign language content. And they did say it should be very rare, but if you come across a film that's not captioned, to let us know and they will get it captioned. And now I'm going to move on to Kanopy. So Kanopy, we no longer require an account to view Kanopy. So the first, coming into Kanopy, you want to click, if you don't have an account and you just want to look at the films, you're going to click Visit the DVC Collection button. And then it's going to, you have to click again, log in. But since I'm already logged in, you notice it's just going to bypass our campus portal login screen. If you weren't logged in, you would just see the campus portal login page. And it comes in, it's a default to all of our 79 currently licensed films. Right here, browse, different ways to browse. So you can browse by subject area. Off to the right here, this is where you would go to sign up for an account. And I'm going to show kind of a neat feature here. So obviously you can look and see that all of the films, you can see the graphical representation of the covers here. But if you go into the search box and you just enter the asterisk key, that's a wildcard search. That's going to search all of our 79 videos. But what it does is it brings up this filter menu on the left-hand side, which is kind of nice. So from there, you have the ability to sort the titles. You can look at them by different subject areas. There's a language facet. Most of the films, like I mentioned, they should be. Kanopy, the majority are going to be closed captioned, and I believe all of our currently licensed films are. Once again, if not, let us know and we can let Kanopy know. And then they also have this other facet that's public performance rights, and we'll go into a little more detail on this. Basically, as long as it has a public performance right, we can show it to, it can be shown to groups and events on campus as long as we don't charge admission. And I'm going to go into one of the video records right now. So this little icon right here, PPR, that is how you can tell if it has a public performance right. And the closed captioning is right here. Clicking play will start playing the video. And then scrolling down a little bit, this is kind of beneath where you go to watch the video. The share link is important. So that's where you're going to find the direct link to the film. This is the embed code for Canvas. And then we have our citation tool underneath that. So these are the different citation formats. And I think that's about it on Canopy. Let's see, let's check notes. Yeah, are there any questions on Canopy? And so the search is only going to search our currently licensed titles. So if you have a film that you want and you want to know if Canopy has it, feel free to either email Amanda and or I directly. We're going to put a link to our request form. You can fill out the request form too, and we can search. We have a way to go in through our administrative login and we can search all of Canopy's catalog for you. All right, and last but not least, we have Swank. Okay. Sometimes it can take a little bit to load. I think that's because we have 1,000 titles now, so it's trying to load everything. Okay. And I just had them recently change it to, we had it by category. I asked them to have our default view to be by title, alphabetical order. So this is the title view right here. This drop-down menu, you can, when you start searching, you can do a title search, but they also have a way to search for a person, which is pretty neat. And then off to the side here, there's more ways to filter. And I've noticed this tends to come up a little bit slowly. It's basically more subject areas of how you can filter the films. So category, subtitles, ratings. And then from the title view, you can also change it to category view. So recently added, well, obviously, like we just recently added 1,000 titles. So I'll go back to title view. And let me go into one of the videos themselves. So clicking on an individual video, this is the watch button, so that'll start playing the film. And the share link right here. So copy direct link, that's directly to the film. And then this LMS link, unfortunately, Swank films cannot be embedded directly in Canvas, but you can embed a link to the film. So it's a descriptive link. And Amanda's going to cover that a little bit more and when I hand it back to her. Before I do that, closed captioning. So same with Swank. They said for the most part, their titles should be closed captioned, but they can always caption it for us if it isn't. And do we have any questions on Swank? And so we are hoping we're just doing a trial this year to see how the top 1,000 goes. So we're hoping it'll get a lot of use and we'll be able to continue to offer it. All right, and I am going to go back into PowerPoint. Okay, and hand it back to Amanda.
Thank you. So we wanted to show you also, done the quick tour of the resources. And then again, we really want to emphasize sharing this with students and encouraging them to use it. The more we're able to use these resources, the more we're able to continue funding them. So in order to kind of encourage student use, the best practice is to share links to these films in multiple places in Canvas if you're using that as a resource, which most of us do. I think like something I've encountered in the past is professors telling their students, oh, well, the library has it, and kind of leaving it there. And then usually that the result is the students don't really go to the library because they don't know how to find it, or they don't really know what they're looking for. So it's really a best practice to provide some guidance to students to show them how to access the library's films. So if you're able to devote some class time to that, to actually demonstrating like, oh, here's the steps to actually view our films that are required viewing, if that's an assignment. Share those permalinks in multiple places. So if you have a list of the required films you're viewing in a class, put in your syllabus, embedded into the Canvas module directly. And then when it comes time to actually view the film, maybe do one more reminder in a course announcement with the link directly to the film. And then we also recommend testing links every semester to make sure your film is still available. The collection is relatively stable, but we're kind of at the mercy of the distribution companies and the studios. Sometimes they'll pull their streaming rights from us, and then, you know, the film goes away. And usually we'll get a heads up from our vendors when that's going to happen, and we'll try to get in touch with, if we know a certain professor's using a film every semester, we'll try to get in touch and make other arrangements. But it's a really good practice to test your links every semester to make sure they're still active, and test them early so you're not surprised at the last minute. All right, so let me show you really quickly how to actually embed it in Canvas. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm not going to do an example from every one of the databases because it basically works the same. But as Leela was mentioning, she went through and showed you the share links. I just wanted to review really quickly. So Avon provides all of these video streaming databases have a share button, and it looks something like this. It's somewhere on the items record. And all of them provide a permalink. And the permalink is just that permanent link back. It'll take you students back to this resource, and they can view it, you know, in the database. If it has an embed code, usually what that means is that there's a player that can be embedded in your Canvas page. So students can actually, they don't have to leave Canvas to watch the video. They can watch it, you know, within the Canvas page. So it's kind of like when you embed a YouTube video, if you do that. So let me just grab the embed code here and quickly demonstrate how you put that into Canvas. So I've got this embed code. I'm going to go back to my Canvas page, edit, and there's a couple ways you can do it. The easy way is to do insert, and Canvas has this embed option. So if you click insert, then embed, you can just paste the embed code provided by the database, and then it'll put it in for you. That's easy. Your other option, if you're, you know, kind of into editing the HTML, you can always click this HTML editor and then put it just into the HTML directly, and it does the same thing. And there you go. If you're given just a permalink, so it is Digital Theater Plus and Swank, they don't have this like nice embedded viewer option. So those ones are just going to give you the URL. And then in that situation, the best practice for accessibility is, instead of just putting in the link like this, which is really long and not very screen reader friendly, the recommendation is to make that a descriptive link. So actually typing in the text, house, and then putting your link here, external link. So creating this descriptive link is just an accessibility practice that the college encourages. So that's how you would do that. And then the nice thing about Swank and I'm not sure if I have Swank open right now, but yeah, here we go. So Swank provides the descriptive link. So that's the difference. We have copy the direct link. So the direct link is just that URL. The copy the LMS link, this is the descriptive link. So they create the descriptive link for you. And so then you would do the same process, insert, embed, and then put in the code. And now they always use the language watch and then the film title. Okay, so that is a little quick introduction to embedding those links. Any questions on that?
Hey, Amanda, it's Stephen Watkins. I had a question about sharing. So if I go through, for example, and create a page much like you did, and I set up a whole lesson, a discussion, or some sort of a response, view and respond, whether it's a clip or a full-length feature or doc, what restrictions, if any, are going to stop me from exporting that to another section, or God forbid, sharing it on the Creative Commons? I think I know the answer to that one, but could you speak to that?
Yeah, of course. There's no, if you copied that over to another course or another section, it's gonna, the link is gonna show up. But I think the challenge or the restriction would be if you're copying, say, from one college instance of Canvas to another, that link won't really work for your students. So like say if you're an adjunct and you're teaching at DVC and then you also teach at another community college, if you copied that paste into your other college's Canvas, that link is unique. The link that you create for these resources is unique for DVC students. So your students at your other college, they would run into a problem accessing the content because they couldn't log in. They don't have the DVC credentials. So that would be what would probably happen if you shared it to Creative Commons. There'd still be a link. It would still take the students to the database where the video lives, but people outside of DVC wouldn't be able to log in and access it. Does that answer the question? Awesome. Okay, I just had, Leila, can you share the PowerPoint one more time? I just had a couple other comments I wanted to make before we wrap up. Next slide. Oh, can you go back one? So just a really quick note on digital equity and streaming media. And one of the reasons we're so passionate about encouraging use, I mean, not just so we can get funding, but really because making these films accessible to students is a digital equity issue. We want to be able to allow all students to access technology and media. And we know that not all students have the same capacity to access streaming media on their own. Not every student is going to have like a Netflix account and a Prime account and a Hulu account. And for some students, renting those films is a barrier for them in terms of like a financial barrier. And so if your course has a lot of films that are required viewing, it's just something to keep in mind. If we can make it accessible through the library for free to students, that's going to boost student success because they're more likely to view films that they have access to. And we also kind of don't want to encourage too much pirating, which I think is what a lot of students resort to if they can't access it for free in some way, legally for free. So yeah, just encourage you, if it's possible, to work through the library with these required films. Just do it for digital equity purposes. Okay, next screen, or next slide. So we really want to encourage you to use what is in the collection, but sometimes there might be a film that you're really, that's really important to what you're teaching, and we understand that. So contact us about finding it. We may be able to find it and add it to the collection. We have a streaming video request form on our webpage. We've linked to it here in the slides. You can fill out the form and it'll send the request to us and we can work on adding it. We will do everything we can to fill requests, but unfortunately funding is limited. And these films, individual titles are very expensive, between $200 to $500 to license a film. And that's just A lot of times that's just for 1 year, not permanently. So funding is definitely an issue. That being said, if your department can pay for it, the library is happy to facilitate acquiring the license if we've run out of funding for it. Or even if you just want, your department to pay for it to help us out. And then, as Leila mentioned earlier, streaming rights might not always be available. It's really dependent on what the studios and the distribution companies are allowing. So in that case, some things to consider is, can another film in the library's collection be substituted in that situation? And we are happy to do a search and provide you with some alternative titles that you might consider. And then again, could a DVD work? I know it's sort of an older technology, but it is pretty straightforward for us to acquire a DVD, put it on reserve in the library, and give students the ability to watch it in the library if they need to. All right. And then last thing we had about public performance rights, this question comes up pretty frequently. So any film in the library's collection can be shown in class, shared in Canvas, that's all legal. What we run into issues with is sometimes people want to show these films at events, like a club's having a film showing, or there's going to be a film showing on campus. And even if the event is free, you still need to make sure that your film has a public performance right. And so we just wanted to share with you that all of the Avon Films on Demand and digital theater films, they all have that public performance right. So anything in those collections you can show at a campus event as long as it's free. Canopy, Leila showed you how to find the public performance rights icon. If it has that PPR icon, you can show it at a campus event. None of the Swank films have PPR though. Okay. I think that's the end of our presentation. I know we're running out of time, but does anyone have any last minute questions? Yes, Linda.
Oh, I was just wondering if maybe you'd want to show everyone how to access the film form that you showed via the services for faculty on the DVC page, because that's another easy way to kind of go about it.
Sure. Leila, you're on mute.
Yeah, it's in our FAQs have it. It's in a couple different places. And then, so services for faculty. And then this streaming video request form.
That's funny.
Where is that button?
You have to be, I think you have to be logged in to submit the form. So.
Oh, yeah.
If the form doesn't work for whatever reason, you can just contact us, send us an email, and we can.
Yeah, you can email us both directly too with requests.
So we just wanted to thank you so much for coming to this presentation. Hope it was helpful. If there are any questions, Leila and I can hang around for a few minutes to answer them. Otherwise, you have our names and email addresses. Please be in touch if you have any questions about these resources. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Amanda, I had a question. For the ones that we put into Canvas, will they be captioned?
Well, as long as the database or the film is captioned by our vendor, then the students will be able to access the captions. And as Leila was saying, most of our films in the collection are captioned. There's only like a small percentage that aren't. And if you run into one of those, we can contact the vendor and they are all able to caption it. And I've done this with Swank in the past, where I requested captions for a professor and they were able to do it within like a week.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome.
I love that picture.
Thank you.
I think Karen left a message that she wasn't going to stay after, but maybe. Oh, Karen, are you still there?
Is I can't figure out how to get out of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can. I'll just close the meeting, and then we'll. You can be out.
Oh, yay. Good.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop recording.